1953. A kitchen in Dayton, Ohio, Saturday morning. A woman stands at the counter with a pencil stub and the back of the electric bill envelope. Coffee percolating on the stove. She is writing a grocery list, but she is not guessing. She knows every shelf in that store by heart. Produce first, because it sits near the front door. Meat and dairy last, because they need to stay cold. 15. Unspoken rules governed the way American women shopped in the 1950s. Not one of them survived. Every rule quietly erased and replaced by something more expensive and never half as good. Number 15, the grocer who kept a ledger. Women did not always pay at the register. The local grocer kept a handwritten ledger behind the counter. Your family's name was in it, you paid on payday, a cloth-bound book on the shelf next to the cash register, a pencil tied to a string. The grocer wrote the date, the items, and the total in his own hand. No interest charged, no late fees, no credit score pulled. A week of groceries for a family of 5 ran $12 to $15 in 1953. The grocer knew your husband worked at the plant. He knew when payday fell. He knew the baby had been sick last month because his wife told him at church. He extended the tab because he had extended it to your mother 10 years before, and she never missed a payment. The ledger was not a system, it was a handshake written down. The chain supermarkets arrived and the ledger closed. A relationship that ran on trust was replaced by a plastic card that charges 18% interest. Today, the average American household carries over $6,000 in credit card debt. That grocer's ledger never charged a penny. But before a woman could walk into that store and have her name written in that book, she had already done something at the kitchen table that most modern shoppers have completely forgotten how to do. Number 14, the envelope list, organized by aisle. The shopping list was written on the back of a used envelope. It was not organized alphabetically, it was organized by the physical layout of the store. A pencil stub from the kitchen junk drawer, the envelope from last month's phone bill. She wrote the items in the exact order she would encounter them walking through the front door. Lettuce and apples first, canned tomatoes and flour in the middle, chuck roast and milk at the back. She walked the entire store in her mind before she turned the key in the ignition. No backtracking, no wandering, no standing in the cereal aisle wondering what she came for. The average trip took 35 minutes, in and out. She did not need an APP to organize her groceries. She needed a pencil and a memory built over 1,000 Saturday mornings. And she did not walk into that store looking the way she looked at home. Number 13, dressing up to go shopping. A woman put on lipstick, a pressed dress, and sometimes gloves before she walked into the grocery store. Shopping was a public appearance. Revlon lipstick and Fire and Ice, 49 cents at the drugstore counter. A cotton house dress swapped for a day dress with a belt and clean flats. Hair set from the night before. A handbag over the forearm. She was going to see the butcher, the pharmacist, and 3 women from the PTA. The grocery store in 1953 was not a warehouse. It was a stage. Every woman in the store had made the same effort. It was not discussed. It was simply done. She dressed for the A&P, the way her granddaughter dresses for a job interview. The difference is nobody told her it was optional. She looked right. And when she reached the meat counter, she expected the man behind it to know exactly who she was. Number 12. The butcher who saved your cut. The butcher at the grocery counter or the standalone meat market knew every regular by name. He saved specific cuts behind the case for women he knew would be in Saturday morning. The white apron, the sawdust on the tile floor of the standalone shops, the glass display case with cuts laid out on white paper. She did not pick a shrink-wrapped tray from a refrigerated shelf. She asked for a 3-pound chuck roast for Sunday pot roast, and he cut it from the hanging side while she watched. He trimmed the fat the way she liked it. He knew she fed 6 people. A chuck roast ran 65 cents a pound. He wrapped it in white butcher paper and wrote the weight and price on the outside with a grease pencil. That paper left a faint, waxy smell on her hands the whole drive home. The butcher was not a service counter. He was a relationship. He knew her Sunday dinner before she said a word. The meat was for Sunday. But Sunday morning started somewhere else entirely. And that somewhere started the afternoon before. Number 11, the Saturday bakery run for Sunday rolls. Women stopped at the bakery on Saturday afternoon to buy rolls or bread specifically for Sunday morning breakfast and Sunday dinner. The bell above the bakery door? The warm fog of yeast and flour hitting your face the moment you walked in. A dozen Parker House rolls in a white paper bag. 19 cents a dozen at most neighborhood bakeries. Crescent rolls before Easter. Rye bread from the German bakery 2 blocks west. The baker's wife behind the counter with flour on her apron and a pencil behind her ear. The rolls went into the bread box Saturday evening and into a warm oven Sunday morning. The particular softness of bread baked that day compared to bread sealed in plastic and stamped with a date 10 days out. She did not buy bread to last the week. She bought bread for one meal. That meal had a name. It was called Sunday dinner. 5 items in, and every single one of them ran on something you cannot download or subscribe to. Personal knowledge, local trust, a grocer who knew your name, a butcher who remembered your cut, a baker who expected you on Saturday because you always came on Saturday. Every merchant in that system was accountable to the woman standing in front of him. She was not a consumer. She was a customer. There is a difference, and it explains almost everything that happened next. Number 10, S and H green stamps. At the register, women received small green trading stamps based on how much they spent. They licked them, pasted them into collection books, and redeemed full books at the Green Stamp Center for Household Goods, Sperry and Hutchinson green stamps. At peak popularity by 1957, the gummy taste of the adhesive on the tip of the tongue. Rows of stamps pressed into the slotted pages of a collection book. Books stacked in the kitchen drawer next to the coupons. A single book worth roughly $1.20 in merchandise. Families saving for months. 12 books for a toaster. 20 books for a set of bath towels. The Redemption Center on the commercial strip with glass cases full of merchandise. Children pressing their faces to the display case while their mother counted her books. Every lick of every stamp was proof that a working-class woman could turn ordinary groceries into something her family needed. The loyalty program did not live on a phone. It lived in a kitchen drawer, and it was worth something you could hold in your hands. The stamps went into the drawer. But the coins she saved came from a ritual that started before she ever left the house. Number 9, the Sunday newspaper coupon ritual. Sunday morning before church, a woman sat at the kitchen table with the newspaper, a pair of scissors, and an envelope. She clipped coupons for the coming week. The Sunday editions spread across the table, the glossy insert sections. Procter & Gamble, General Mills, Campbell's, 5 cents off a can of Del Monte peaches, 7 cents off a box of Tide. The scissors clicking through the paper in a quiet kitchen. Coupons sorted into a small envelope or a recipe box divided by category. She matched every coupon to the list she had already written. A skilled coupon user saved $2 to $3 a week. Nearly 20% of a typical grocery bill. She was not clipping coupons because she was desperate. She was clipping them because wasting money on something you could get for less was a kind of carelessness her mother would not have tolerated. She carried those coupons in her handbag next to something else that no modern shopper would recognize. Number 8, the ration book mentality that never left. Women who lived through wartime rationing in the 1940s carried those habits straight into the 50s. The books expired. The discipline did not. War Ration Book 4, issued 1943. Stamps for sugar, butter, meat, canned goods. The habit of measuring exactly, of saving the fat from the roast in a tin can by the stove for gravy the next night, of buying 1 head of lettuce, not 2, a 5-pound bag of sugar at 49 cents, and she used it like it still cost a government stamp. She did not call it budgeting. She called it common sense. Her daughter watched and learned and did not know she was learning. The war ended in 1945. The habit did not end for another 40 years. That discipline saved more money over a lifetime than any financial planner ever has. Number 7, the milkman and the doorstep order. Milk, cream, butter, and eggs arrived at the front door before dawn. The milkman came on a set schedule. You left empties out. He replaced them. Bourdons, seal test. The glass bottle with the pressed cardboard cap. Cream risen to the top in a visible yellow line. The aluminum wire carrier on the front porch at 5:30 in the morning. 2 quarts of whole milk, 41 cents delivered. A handwritten note tucked into the empty bottle if you needed extra cream for Sunday's pie. The quiet clink of glass in the dark. A milkman who had been running the same route for 11 years and knew every house by what they ordered every week. The milk did not come from a shelf. It came from a man who showed up before sunrise and never once needed a reminder. Number 6, buying produce by hand. Nothing in the produce section came in a sealed package or a plastic clamshell. A woman picked up every single tomato, every apple, every head of lettuce, and examined it before it went into the bag. Loose tomatoes in a wooden bin. She turned each one over in her palm, smelled the stem end, pressed gently for give. Corn still in the husk, the top pulled back to check the kernels for fullness. Peaches weighed in the hand and held to the nose. A brown paper bag set on the hanging scale. The grocer adjusted the brass weight. Green beans loose by the pound at 19 cents. The whole section smelled like damp earth and cold root cellar air. She did not trust a label. She trusted her hands. Her hands had never once been wrong about a tomato. Number 5, the drugstore stop. After the grocery. After the main shopping, women stopped at the corner drugstore, pharmacy, toiletry counter, and neighborhood gathering point in a single visit. Rexall, the original Walgreens with the oak shelves and the tile floor. Breck shampoo at 59 cents. Pond's cold cream at 35 cents. A tin of Bayer aspirin for a quarter. The soda fountain running along the front window. A cherry phosphate for a dime while she waited for a prescription. The children got a nickel Coca-Cola from the glass bottle cooler. The pharmacist, who knew her prescriptions from memory, and asked how her husband's back was doing. The drugstore was not a store. It was the last stop on a Saturday morning that had already touched 6 people who all knew her by name. But before she could load everything into the car, someone else had a job to finish, and that job has almost entirely disappeared. Number 4, the bag boy who carried everything to the car. A teenage boy at the front of the store packed every item into brown paper bags and walked them to her car. He did not accept tips. It was part of the service. Brown craft paper bags, double bagged for the heavy cans, bread and eggs always on top. The boy wore a white apron and a paper garrison cap. He walked beside her across the parking lot, loaded the trunk, closed it, and said thank you. Every chain offered this. A&P Piggly Wiggly. Kroger. The boy earned 65 cents an hour, and it was his first real job. No plastic bags, no self-checkout kiosk, no machine asking if she brought her own bag. She never carried her own groceries to the car. Not because she expected to be waited on, because the store understood that service was not a premium feature. It was the baseline. Number 3, the layaway counter. For anything too expensive to buy in a single trip, a woman walked to the layaway counter and put the item on hold with a small deposit. She paid a little each week until it was hers. A winter coat for her daughter. A Sunbeam Mix Master at $29.95. A 4-piece set of Corningware. She put $1 down at the layaway desk. The clerk wrote it in a carbon copy receipt book. She came back every Saturday and paid another $1 or $2. 6 weeks later, the coat was hers. No interest charged, No credit application, no minimum monthly payment designed to never end. The layaway ticket tucked into the handbag next to the coupons. She did not borrow money to buy things, she waited. And the waiting meant that when she finally carried that coat home, she owed nothing to anyone. No bank, no billing cycle, no debt. She paid for that coat $1 at a time. But the most disciplined act in her entire financial week happened before she spent a single cent. Number 2, the cash envelope system. On payday, a woman divided the household cash into labeled envelopes. Groceries, rent, utilities, church tithe. Each envelope held exactly what was budgeted. When the grocery envelope was empty, the shopping stopped. White envelopes from the stationery drawer, labeled in pencil. The grocery envelope held $12 to $18 for a family of 4 in 1954. She counted the bills at the kitchen table on Friday evening after the children were in bed. The system meant she knew to the penny what she could spend before she left the house Saturday morning. No overdraft protection. No buy now, pay later. No app sending push notifications about her balance. A woman, an envelope, and the certainty that the money inside was all there was. The envelope system did not allow debt. It did not allow pretending. It forced her to look at exactly what she had and build a week from it. That is a discipline that no financial technology has replaced. Today, the average American household spends 11% more than it earns in a given month. Her envelope would not allow that. Not once. Not ever. Number 1, the Sunday icebox inventory. Sunday evening, dinner cleared. Dishes washed and dried and put away. The kitchen quiet. The children in bed or close to it. She opened the refrigerator door and stood there for one long minute, not looking for something to eat, looking at what was left. The hum of the General Electric or the Frigidaire. The interior bulb clicking on. A half stick of butter on the second shelf. 3 eggs in the door rack. A glass bottle of milk with 2 inches remaining. A bowl of leftover pot roast covered in waxed paper. Half a head of iceberg lettuce going soft at the edges. She did not write anything down, not yet. She memorized it. She closed the door and the kitchen went dark. By Monday morning, the shape of next Saturday's list was already forming behind her eyes. It was the last domestic act of her Sunday and the first act of the week ahead. No one assigned it. No one taught a class on it. No chart on the refrigerator told her when to do it. She simply opened the door, looked at what remained, and began again. That quiet minute standing alone at the icebox on a Sunday night was the engine that made everything else in this list possible. Every aisle walked in order. Every coupon matched to the list. Every dollar sorted into its envelope. Every roll bought fresh on Saturday. All of it started here, with a woman standing in the cold light of an open refrigerator after the rest of the house had gone to sleep. No one in America ever called it work. And if you want more forgotten wisdom from the generations who came before us, the next video is waiting for you right now.